Hey, what's up, everybody? Collins here. I'm a Chicagoland area real estate agent, real estate investor, like talking everything finance, real estate, and business. After yesterday's video, I received a lot of questions like, hey, Collins, I understand, cash flow. You want to make sure that every month you're receiving more money than you're spending on the property, because if you're not, you're probably going to end up hating it. But after yesterday's video, I thought I would talk more on the 1% rule and if you could still get 1% um, income on a property compared to the purchase price each month. So essentially, if you're buying a $200,000 house or building, you want to make sure that you're getting at least $2,000 a month in rent for that property. This isn't the golden rule. You want to still make sure that you're getting cash flow because some areas of Illinois you might have very high property tax and or maybe insurance for whatever reason on that property is really high. So you still want to understand like what your monthly expenses are, or maybe right now with interest rates, it's very tough to still get cash flow even though maybe you're getting 1%. And the 1% isn't like golden across the board. In some markets, like some investors that want like 2% because it's maybe tougher to rent out those units. And then in other areas, maybe it's an appreciation play, so some folks aren't as worried about the 1% rule. They're just hoping they get, some cash flow out of the deal, and at least they're getting some cash flow. They're open to make the investment. Well, let's take a look and see if we can still find a property in Chicago where you could get 1%. So I came across this property in Bridgeport. Looks pretty attractive. I'm sure you're going to need to put a lot of sweat equity in it because it is being sold as is. But the outside of the building, it's a brick 2-unit building, looks really good. I wonder if it's a crawl space or if it's on a slab. It looks older, so typically these were on a crawl space. So, if you are to look at this property, just make sure you do your due diligence. But being at 379,000, you're going to have a pretty good chance of getting the 1% rule, especially if you do some sweat equity and fix these up. If they are, 2 bed, 1 bath units, you might be able to rent this out close to $2,000 a month. So you're slightly over the 1% rule. Again, the 1% rule. So say if you were to buy this property for $380,000, you want to make sure that you're getting at least $3,800 a month in rent for both of these units per month. So you want to make sure that you're getting a nice chunk of change within rent in order to meet the 1% rule. Well, let's take a look at this overall. So let's kind of quantify what our potential expenses would be. Um, this is always inaccurate. So if we're at 379, say we're going to be a true investor, put 25% down. If you are an investor, let's say we're putting 7.5%. No mortgage insurance because you're putting so much down. Property taxes, we're gonna have to boost this up a little bit because it's Chicago and property tax suck. Home insurance, this seems a little bit light as well. So let's bump this up to 2,500. And then there would be no HOA fees on this property, but I like to put potential maintenance costs here. So let's say $500 a month. And let's see what the damage would be per month. So you're looking at $3,300 per month. So you're actually pretty close to the 1% rule in the payments that you would be making because interest rates are so high right now, and property tax in Illinois gives me heartburn. Uh, but if you're able to get 2,000 per unit, you would be making 4,000, so you're cash flowing about $700 per month, since we were pretty conservative within your estimates here. And you would be meeting the 1% rule, slightly over the 1% rule. You likely have to do some work to the unit, so I would or unit, so I would factor that in if you are to make an offer on this property. But it's pretty cool to see that you can still get the 1% rule in Chicago, and you're getting pretty good cash flow, $700 a month in your pocket. And if you were to do work on this property, I'm sure there would be an appreciation play as well. But let me know what you all think in the comments. Do you see that the 1% rule is pretty common across Chicago, or do you really have to search to find properties that meet the 1% rule? Also, are you able to find cash flowing deals in Chicago? If you're looking for cash flowing deals in Chicago, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to take a look and see if I could find something that would suit your needs as an investor. But I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye.